Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Hello, people, and welcome to the Rational League. New thumbnail, because it's a new year. It is my birthday today. So, thank you for everybody joining us. Did we say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim first? Listen, Arsenal are back to their best. Odegaard is back. That means Arsenal are good. Arteta is now not being a coward. He's absolutely brave. Played on the front foot, destroyed Nottingham Forest. I enjoyed that very, very much from Arsenal. Bukayo Saka cannot play football. He cannot shoot. He cannot dribble. He cannot cross. He cannot do anything. But he can score bangers, of course. Liverpool, unstoppable. The king is there. But he's about to leave and to go Saudi Arabia or Paris Saint-Germain or Real Madrid or Inter. I hope that he comes to Inter. Of course.
Really full.
He can go back to Italy. At least he'll eat better food. And Chelsea finally rotated, and Joao Felix played with Cole Palmer, as Maresca said. But that took away from Cole Palmer. Dan was at the game. That took away completely from Cole Palmer. A lot of Chelsea fans didn't like it, but it is what it is. Chelsea looked all right, looked good. Nicholas Jackson looks amazing. And Man City got destroyed. 5 games in a row, 4-0. I don't think I've seen ever Man City lose 4-0 under. I've never seen Pep Guardiola lose 4-0.
They lost 4-0 to Everton in his first season.
At home?
Away.
Exactly. Can you imagine Man City losing 5?
Yeah, but let's be honest. They lost 4-0 to Everton. We're including Everton in this conversation. They let Tom Davies score on their head. That might be worse, even though it was away from home.
This is Spurs.
Spurs are a decent side. If I remember correctly in that Everton game, Lukaku scored, which is to be expected. He was good at Everton. Kevin Mirallas scored. Tom Davies scored, who I don't even know where he is now. He just does fashion magazines now. And Ademola Lookman, who was at Everton, scored 1 goal for Everton, and it was against Manchester City in the 4-0 loss. So Pep's been in the spot before.
Okay. Listen, before we go on, big up everybody that joined us, of course, from Nobbins' channel. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. This is your Rational League. And also want to say congratulations to Nobbins. He's now an engaged man. Congratulations to Nobbins over the weekend. At least you had the joy of that instead of watching Manchester City. That was much, much better.
I quite liked your tweet afterwards where the next day you finally saw the result when
exactly.
We lost 4-0.
As it turns out, I was asking the question as we were conceding our 3rd goal. So, that was quite nice.
It is
my
astonishing that when you're getting engaged, you're not even like checking your phone for the results or anything.
I was preoccupied, funnily enough.
He has
I was-
slightly bigger things on his mind than if
Yeah,
Ilkay
well,
Gundogan
actually-
knew how to run a midfield.
I actually had to postpone my my engagement because of the World Cup.
In fairness, I assumed, Nobbins, that you'd gone 3-0 down and you just thought, fuck this, I need some sort of happiness in my life. Let me try a different route.
I had to engage now, quickly.
Yeah.
Okay,
Set
let
my
me.
mind off it.
He sat
Thank
there
you,
and watched
Redline
the ball
Teranga.
going and went, fuck, what can I do now?
Thank you, Redline Teranga. Happy birthday, Mo Akhi. Thank you so much. And Blaze is saying Tom is still laughable to pick Cucurella over Robo now.
I still think Robertson, yeah. One
Right,
Saturday
all right,
evening.
Blaze. Here you go. He still thinks Robertson now over Cucurella.
I mean, if you're going off the basis of yesterday, it wasn't a pen, so he had a decent game yesterday.
It's definitely a penalty. We'll talk about that. It's like 100% a penalty. I watched it like 50 times to come to that.
The contact is outside the box.
No, the contact continued on the line, and the line is part of the penalty area.
It doesn't continue on the line. Him throwing himself over is not
No,
continuing.
no. The contact was on the line.
No, the contact was Robertson's right foot or right knee.
This is right
Actually,
there.
it wasn't. It
Left
wasn't
leg.
actually right knee. I actually go and watch it again.
No,
Actually, he literally
no.
clipped his ankle on the line.
No,
Literally.
it was.
Oh my god.
The contact
Okay,
is his right knee
I'm gonna
on
go
Dibbling's
check
left
it
leg.
again. Oh my god. Does anybody
con-
here saw that call? I'm sure
I-
Nobbins didn't. I'm sure Rory and Dan saw it.
So my opinion was it was probably very difficult to overturn it, but I think the correct decision on the field should have been no penalty, because I do think it's his right knee that makes contact with Dibbling's right ankle, and it is outside the box. And like you can say, yeah, that the contact continues into it, but the only contact that continues into the box is the two of them both falling over. Like the actual foul itself for me is outside the box, but at least it didn't make a difference in the end. So, and I thought, to be honest, at 2-1 to Southampton, I thought they should have had a penalty when Kelleher took out Armstrong. So it all evens itself out.
Really?
Well, yeah, Kelleher comes out, doesn't win the ball goes beyond him, and he takes out.
Okay. The only difference is Armstrong never touched the ball.
I agree, but Armstrong's running towards the ball. Kelleher has missed the ball and takes him out.
But who has? Okay, actually, I think it was a collision actually, because none of them has the ball.
But you don't have to
If
have.
the forward.
Okay, example. Even Nielsen never had the ball when Saliba fouled him, but it's still a red card and a foul. He'd never touched the ball, but he was going to have touched the ball.
Kelleher never dived actually. He just stood. He was
He
on his
slid on
knees and
Yeah, so
yeah, and then he never dived.
for
I
me,
didn't think it was a
foul.
penalty, to be honest. I didn't think it was a
It-
penalty.
Look, it evens itself out at the end of the day. But watching
Yeah.
that Robertson one, like I don't think that was a pen. I don't think the contact carried on into the box. I think the only thing that carried on into the box was Dibbling going over, which in turn sends Robertson over. The contact, the actual foul, took place outside the box. Robertson should have done it earlier outside the box to take away any sort of thing.
We started with
Was that-
Liverpool.
But by virtue, we are now. But Robertson should have done it earlier because he had Canati covering, so he wouldn't have got red card for dog show or whatever it's called. And if he does it earlier, then you take away any risk of, VAR not stepping in. But I thought, I know we'll talk about the football later, but I felt like the VAR in our game yesterday, it was just there to confirm decisions, regardless of if they were right or wrong. Even the one,
Damn.
like our penalty. Like, I think there was a world where, because it's a deflection off the chest onto the arm, there's a world where that's not given sometimes. But VAR just sort of went, stick with the on-field decision, stick with the on-field decision. It's now, it went from re-refereeing games, which was seen as bad, to no longer refereeing games at all and just confirming the on-field decision. And when you have a situation, which you do have with certain referees, where they won't commit to a decision because they think VAR will step in and overturn it if they're wrong. And then you've got the VAR who don't want to re-referee the game. You're going to get incorrect decisions being made from both parties. And it's going to cost them.
Especially because it's Michael Oliver who recently got, in trouble, I guess, for giving that penalty against United in the West Ham United game, where he should never have stepped in and given that. Feel like then that leaves you with a hangover of like not wanting to get involved in case you make the same mistake again.
The worst one
Lallana, I
yesterday
thought, could
was
have
the
been sent
Lallana
off as
tackle.
well.
The
Yeah,
Lallana
like the
tackle
fact
on
that
Gravenberch.
barely even seemed like it got looked at by VAR. And for me, it was probably a red card. So
There's 2 yellow card offences in one tackle. He takes him out of the shin with his shin, and then he stamps on his ankle. Like, again, it's just the refereeing standards in this country are piss poor. They're really, really bad. And you're seeing stuff like this. I'm saying this because even though my team won, because it's a consistent thing. It benefited us yesterday. It went against us yesterday. But the fact of the matter is, once again, a game that ended 3-2. You know, a game that could have had a ridiculously good storyline and bottom of the league, beating top of the league. And now we're spending the first part of that game talking about the poor standard of officiating and how big decisions, again, we feel like they got it wrong. And it's a common theme in this country. And, you know, especially after the whole Mr. Coots saga in the international break, you know, you would have thought you'd have seen a marked improvement from them, but hey, what do you know? At least we won at the end of the day, and we go into Man City with the chance to go 11 points clear of them, which is absolutely mental to say.
Does anybody think that Liverpool should be favourites from here on? Or
No.
it's still too early?
No.
Only
We got a new manager. We didn't make any signings. We got some injuries.
Do you know what? I'll say this.
Can't do
I'll say
anything.
this. It's been winding me up, actually, because
Tom doesn't believe
now we're at a point where Liverpool are rightfully 8 points clear, fairly 8 points clear. They have been the best team this season. So, Liverpool fans, if you dare criticise anything about Liverpool, if you dare have any question marks over anything about Liverpool, you get hounded by Liverpool fans on Twitter. Absolutely hounded. You're not allowed to have any criticism of them whatsoever. But equally, you're not allowed to say that they're favourites, and you're not allowed to say that it would be a massive collapse if they didn't win it from here. So they want both worlds. They want to have their cake and they want to eat their cake.
Yeah,
and they're going to get very fat.
We're fat bastards. That's what we are.
If Liverpool beat City, then it's not in dispute, is it? Because then they'd be still minimum 9 points ahead of Arsenal and Chelsea, and also 11 ahead of City. So if and when they win at Anfield against City, emphasis on when, then yeah, there's no doubt that they are the favourites.
It's in if. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here.
Yeah, cute. Yeah, let's see if we don't get battered by Feyenoord first, and then we'll talk about Anfield. Yeah, of course they're favourites, and by a fair margin as well. It would require some sort of elite capitulation on a level that we haven't seen since like Newcastle in 1997 or whenever that was, in order for Liverpool to lose the title from there. Surely, like they've got to be the favourites at that point.
We've got a new manager. We made no signings this summer. We've had a real injury crisis with our starting goal missing games.
You've got a new manager who, as it turns out, rather frustratingly, is already one of the best managers in the league. So I don't think you can be using that.
New manager tax. That's all I'll say. New manager. You know, we're up against Phase 5 Arsenal. You know, dangerous team. We're up against
shameless.
We're up against Manchester City with new Pep contract.
Antonio Conte was new, Claudio Ranieri was new, Mourinho was new, Ancelotti was new.
You don't believe this, Tom. You know that you would be favourites, like by a mile if you beat us.
Right. I will say this: if after we play Manchester United on the 5th of January. No, hold on. Hold on.
January.
Calm it down.
Not even December.
Calm it down. Let me say my point. If we get to Manchester United,
that's how Sam this guy is.
On December 5th, and if we beat them, and following that result, are at least 9 points clear at the top of the league, I will start singing we're going to win the league.
No, we're not. I don't think we're saying you got to win the league, but I think we are just saying reasonably that you should be considered.
You must. You have to.
The most likely team to win now is Liverpool. Obviously, it is.
Yeah, the shortest odds are Liverpool.
Yeah, even if you draw against City, I still think that makes you favourites because that
yes,
still
I
leaves
agree.
you 8 points clear of City, at least 7 points clear at the top of the table, having already played Arsenal and City once. That still leaves you favourites. So
the only reason I said Man United is because I'm a bit of a superstitious person, and the year that we won the league, we played Leicester City. We played Manchester City, who were out of form going into December. We played Leicester City on Boxing Day, and we played Manchester United at home in January. And those were the 3 games that defined the title for us. So I'm saying they're in similar spots again this year. You get similar results this time against them. I believe in a bit of faith. And I believe that lightning can strike twice. And if we get to that point, I would back us to go on and win the league. It's just, I'm not going to commit to it yet. Because I've still got a couple of arguments that I can make as to why not to. And, you know, we have got a decently tough run coming up in
you know what the thing about it, before you go on, you know, like, actually Liverpool at the current moment cannot use the squad depth excuse at all. You can only use the new manager thing because
why not?
Man City literally have no midfield to play at all.
Yeah, but we've also had injuries this season.
Okay, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about squad depth. I didn't say injuries or anything.
No, because that's by the by. One is conducive with the other. Your squad depth struggles because you've got injuries. So your squad depth looks worse because you're playing the depth players because your starters are injured. Liverpool have also had injuries this season. Our goalie's not played since the start of October.
You arguably have top 5 goalkeeper as a second goalkeeper in the league. So that is called depth.
We've got to play our set. Yes, so does City. So it's not hard.
Ortega's not good as Kelleher, but fine.
Edison in the midfield.
Hold on. I remember last season we were all saying Stefan Ortega's the best backup in the league, and now he's not even better than Kelleher.
Kelleher played more now, and I can say that Kelleher is very good. Also, you have a deputy DM. They have no starting DM. Literally, by the way, they have no starting DM.
Yeah, but
we have a deputy DM.
Yeah, but we've
have Harvey Elliott is back.
Our starting striker hasn't played since October.
They have 1 striker only. You have 2.
That's not our fault, though. It's not our fault.
But hold on.
Detract from
you are trying to say that we're saying it's your fault. No one here is saying it's Liverpool's fault or not. We're just stating a fact. The facts are you have more depth than Man City in some areas.
I am not saying that Liverpool's injury crisis is worse than Man City's. I did not say that. But I'm saying that the notion that Liverpool have not had injuries this season and have gotten away with it, and it's going to catch up to them at later points in the season.
You have Trent is injured now.
Trent's been injured. Jota's been injured. Alisson's been injured twice. Canate's missed a game or 2 with an injury. McAllister's been injured. Like we've had injuries to starters.
Okay.
So I feel like people have been caught off guard by us this season because, you know, replacing Jurgen Klopp and the figure that he was, and the way that the season ended last year with the fall off. A lot of people probably expected us to not be necessarily there coming this season.
Yes,
but we are, and now people are trying to reason that, I think. And
are people okay? I'm gonna hand it to Rory, but I just want to ask one question to the panel. Are people not expected to change their opinion on a manager based on what they have seen? I'm like, just.
Well, this is the frustrating thing. I feel like Liverpool fans are pinning everyone else into this position where you're not allowed to call Liverpool the favourites. You're also not allowed to say that they're not the favourites, because if you say they're not the favourites and give it any reason, they tear you down and say, well, we're 8 points clear. So you're not allowed to say they are the favourites. You're not allowed to say they're not the favourites. You're not allowed to say that, yeah, most of us got it wrong at the start of the season. You're hounded if you had any opinion that was incorrect. If you ever said that Slot might struggle at the start, you're hounded for having that. But it's like, what the fuck do you want? And now I'm getting hounded just for
I want all my cake.
Liverpool.
I want all my cake. That's what I want. I want all the cake, and I want to eat all.
You can't have that.
You know what? However, they want Liverpool fans and all the pundits and everyone, they want to put the same pressure on Maresca, who has way less experience than Arne Slot, but they say, well, you started very well. Now you must make top 4. Why? Maresca has way less experience than Arne Slot, for example.
Yeah, but there's arguments to be made both ways. And Maresca got to spend a lot more money than Arne Slot did.
Yeah, but Arne Slot has way better players. More experienced players.
Liverpool fans consistently say that if it wasn't for injuries, you'd have won the league last season. So you had the best team in the league last season. They just got injuries. So he's inherited the best team in the league. So it doesn't matter what he spent. He inherited the best team in the league.
But again, though, it's double standard. So whenever a manager comes in, whenever a manager comes in, we're told, oh, they need to imprint their They need to buy their players and put their stamp on the team. And now we're being told that, it doesn't matter if you got to put your stamp on the team or not, you must. So I understand that we're in a strong position now. Yes, we are favourites. I'm quite open to admit that. We are favourites. We are
29 minutes of the stream.
Yeah.
Hooray.
Yeah. Well, is it 9 points ahead of Arsenal and Chelsea, or is it 8? Is it 8? It's 8 ahead of City. 8 ahead of City, 9 ahead of.
It will be 11.
Which team, looking at the pictures ahead, do you think is gonna have bigger possibility of catching up to you?
I haven't seen.
We have to look at that at the end of the season. Arsenal have really favor. You can then. This is an open floor.
It's Arsenal.
If you're talking about the immediate future, so I'm saying up until January 1st.
Yeah,
like, in this Christmas period, that's it. It's Arsenal because
actually, I argue even after that, Arsenal have way favorable run, guys.
Yeah,
I haven't seen the fixtures after January.
If you go look, you will see exactly what I'm talking about.
Very good.
All I know about Arsenal in the second half of the season is that we played them third to last game of the season at Anfield, so we could, if, and I'm not getting ahead of myself here at all, but we could get a Guardiola off Arteta.
Or we could repeat 1989.
That would be on the last day of the season, so unfortunately that's not possible.
Yeah, but
before Dan speaks, guys, can we get the likes to 200? There's about 400 people here and we haven't even hit 100 likes, not even 200, just 100 likes. That's absolutely fraudulent, guys. So hit that like button, guys. Let's get to 200 likes on this video, guys. Hit that like button. All the guys' channels are in the description. Nobbins just did a show. Rory's gonna do a show today. Dan is gonna do a show today, and Tom might do a show later tonight. Absolutely. All the channels are pinned in the description. Blaze here is saying no one is allowed to call others delusional if they're picking Robertson over Cucurella. Let's talk about the football now. After disrespectfully laughing of the comparison, even after Cucurella's Euros. Yesterday, who was your worst player? Who was your worst player yesterday?
Yesterday, the worst player was probably
Robertson.
No, I'd probably say it was Bradley, because Robertson had a decent amount going forwards in that first half. Bradley didn't really do much. Keller saved the pen.
I thought Canate
had a bad game. Van Dijk made a fucking stupid mistake for that penalty. The defense wasn't necessarily great yesterday, which has been a bit of a rarity this season.
Darwin Núñez was also just useless.
I said that yesterday.
I don't have expectations of him.
Rory,
I don't have
you're right.
expectations of him.
I thought Darwin Núñez was not good at all. And Sam's like, he was all right. And I'm like...
When they took off Gakpo instead of Núñez, I was baffled.
To be fair, Núñez done one thing right yesterday, which was put the ball on a plate for Diaz, who ran past it. That was the only good thing Núñez done. But if you're asking me for who our worst player was yesterday, it would probably end up being Conor Bradley or Canate, one of the two. Robertson actually created a decent amount of chances in that first half. His crosses were quite good.
Is what?
His crosses were quite good in the first half.
He hit the first man 6 times out of 12 crosses. Do you know that?
And the other
something, or eight, something like some kind of thing. 6 crosses.
Yep. And Robertson also created the most chances out of anyone for Liverpool yesterday. So it goes in both ways. You
cannot reach the byline every time and hit the first man. That is just basic football.
But as we've understood there, 6 out of 12. So we didn't hit the first man every time. I remember he put in a really good cross for Núñez.
Oh my God.
It was a donkey. Núñez was a fucking donkey whenever crosses came in yesterday and wouldn't run ahead of his man. The first thing you're taught as a striker, you got to be moving. And Núñez stands. Flynn Downs.
By the way,
and
Tom,
stands there
just tell you, you're doing. Don't die on the hell of defending Robertson, Tom. He's not good. He's not good.
There's been plenty of times this season.
I counted yesterday. Okay, I stand corrected 7 times. I had it written somewhere. I counted every time he hit the first man.
Why are we debating Cucurella and Robertson? Just like 2 fairly average left backs.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I will sit there and be the first to say when Robertson has a bad game. He had a shit game against Arsenal, for example. He had a really bad game against Chelsea. But when I don't think he's been the worst player on the pitch, I will say he hasn't been the worst player on the pitch. You cannot tell me Conor Bradley was better than Robertson.
No, Conor Bradley yesterday. Somehow, I think, guys, Liverpool choose defenders, right backs. You have to be on your resume. You have to not be able to defend in the beginning. When you're chosen as a kid, at Liverpool right back, you're like, okay, we are going to get this guy. He can run, he can do things. Can you defend? If they say yes, they just exclude him from the tryout. You know what I mean? But Conor Bradley yesterday, positioning wise, shit. Tackling wise, not good. Trent, can you imagine me sitting here saying Trent is better than Conor Bradley in defending?
Yes, because that again, Trent's not been a bad defender in his career.
He was not good. Like,
no, he was.
cut the crap.
He was put in positions where he couldn't defend. I watched that man
because he can defend and he's very good going.
Right. Okay. The man at 18 kept Cristiano Ronaldo and Leroy Sané quiet in the same Champions League season, but he can't defend. He can defend. We just put him in shit positions to defend.
Trent has improved defensively. I'll give you that. But anyway, let's move on from Trent and Conor Bradley. To be honest, Salah situation before we move on to Manchester City hammering. Salah situation. Is he number one, the best player in the world now? Is that someone just argues with that?
Yes. I don't
you know, he wasn't that good yesterday. Actually, he was all right,
but that's what defines some of these great players. They can struggle to get into a game and then end up winning the other game off their own back. So I think he is the best player in the world.
I don't even think he's the best Egyptian in the world currently.
You're not putting Marmoush ahead of him.
Marmoush currently is better than Salah.
Let's be serious right now.
No, genuinely, I think Marmoush looks unbelievable. The things he's doing this season are
is that Stuttgart, Dan? Is that right?
No. Frankfurt.
Yeah.
Frankfurt, sorry.
Yeah. He looks unbelievable. Obviously, I understand Salah is doing it in the Prem and things like that, but I'm not sure he's currently the best Egyptian.
Salah's doing it in the Premier League and the
Salah
Champions
wasn't
League.
Unbelievable.
What about Sam Morsey? He's Egyptian. He's doing it in the Premier League. Thought he looked excellent.
Did you see him yesterday? Oh, toying with this. Manchester United. Oh, I was so proud yesterday watching the guy that I never heard of before this season.
No, I think with Salah, I mean, yesterday's one of those games. It is one of those games where he didn't look great, and then he gets 2 goals. I mean, even the 2 goals, like the first one, I will never know what McCarthy was attempting to do by running off the pitch nearly on his way out of goal.
Almunia style against Barcelona.
It was like his controller disconnected.
It was. He was running on 300 ping. It was crazy.
Southampton were their own worst enemy yesterday. Oh my god! So, why is Southampton so insistent on playing up the back? By the way, they're so fucking.
Because they've got an identity and they will keep doing it.
They let us back into the game by just losing the ball, trying to play out.
I sat there in the first 20 minutes and went, I'd rather just give them the ball. We're better off creating chances.
About this Man United, this guy, he wants the Vincent Kompany treatment. He wants to play a certain style of football and look good and passing the ball and everything. And then so he can get a better job with better players so he can say, I stuck to what I did, like Vincent Kompany did. He got relegated. That's what happened yesterday.
Yeah, but Vincent Kompany is called Vincent Kompany and had a
exactly. He's not thinking like this. There is no logical reason why would this guy lose the ball 5-6 times every game and still stick with the same thing.
Russell Martin had a decent career.
Not quite Vincent Kompany.
Because yesterday the commentator said there is no reason for you to stick to this with these type of players unless you just want to show the world that you just sticking to that style of play. Jack Stevens and these guys cannot play from the back. McCarthy cannot play from the back. So
it was funny, but
not if that attitude. Keep going, I reckon.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, that young dibbling lad for Southampton's a real player. He looks really good, but I think Salah's the best player in the world. And I know what's come out today about what he said in the interview yesterday. I'm not
quickly about that.
Yet. I'm not worried about it yet.
What's he said?
I do think he said that there's not been a contract offer on the table. Although he loves the football club, he
said I am more out than in.
And he's disappointed that there's no contract.
He said it's almost December and they haven't offered me a contract yet, so I'm more out than in. Are you just? They actually asked him straightforward. Are you disappointed? He said yes. I am.
This is what happens with Salah. And again, I'm not saying it's a bad thing he does this because he's been our best player since he joined, probably. I
thought Mane's better than him, but fine.
Sadio Mane's never been better than Mohamed Salah. But he knows he's got the power, and especially after this season when he's been, 67% of the goals we've scored this season in the Premier League, he's contributed to. He's playing at a level that, this could be the highest level of Mohamed Salah that we've seen if he can keep it for a whole season. So he's definitely in a position to, have negotiating power. But like I said, I'm not worried just yet. I think that there's an element of Liverpool, probably the club in the world that can offer him most of what he wants in terms of a complete package of being able to compete for the top honours whilst having a really good wage packet and a decently long contract in an environment that, he's settled in and loves. So I'm not worried yet, but we do need to start getting these contracts sorted, because if we go into January and none of the three have signed up, that's where
to other clubs now.
That's where doubts would start to creep in my mind. Like, how has it not been sorted yet? We've had 3 international breaks. Salah hasn't went on the past 2. How have we not managed to get any sort of lead with it? And I know that reports have come out today that it's just about compromise on both sides. Both parties want to stay. Like, Salah wants to stay, Liverpool want to keep him, but it's just about compromise on both sides. Compromise on what? If you're looking at the level that Mohamed Salah's performing at this year, how much is it going to cost to replace him? You've got to factor that in, and the argument that we've had in the past.
The Kevin De Bruyne situation. Can you replace Kevin De Bruyne? No.
The other side is the argument of, well, you look at what happened with Henderson and Wijnaldum and Fabinho and to a lesser extent Mane and Firmino. They suddenly fell off a cliff, but Liverpool got rid of them at the right times for the most part and weren't stuck on their high wages. And yes, that is an argument, but Mohamed Salah is in a ridiculous shape physically, looks after his body incredibly well, and we are now under a new regime in terms of management who treat recovery, the style of play, training, all that stuff is entirely different under this manager. And we've seen short-term bonuses in the fact that Ibrahima Konate has had the longest run of starts he's ever had for Liverpool this season. So, like, he's never managed this many starts before or under Jurgen Klopp. This season he's already managed it. So there's clearly something that works in terms of that recovery. If that can be translated to the older players, maybe you get an extra year or 2 out of them, at a really high level. So I don't see how Liverpool aren't trying to push this through and get this done. I said earlier, I'd like to see at least one of them, but mainly both 2 of them signed on Christmas Day for a Christmas present for us, because we deserve one.
Yeah, I think it's actually crazy. If they let Salah go, I think there's something wrong with this management. So first, they didn't get Arne Slot any player in the summer, then they let Salah go. I think it's actually crazy. Something is absolutely wrong at Liverpool. But however, you're going to play Real Madrid. Just quickly, is Real Madrid game important at all for you?
If we lose, again, I want to beat Real Madrid because I fucking hate Real Madrid. And I think the beating Real Madrid going into Man City on the weekend would be a massive momentum boost for the football club.
Right.
But I can hear the argument that people have about rotating a bit, because we are top of the group in the Champions League. Even if we were to lose, I think we stay top 8, which is ultimately where you want to be. I'd like to win the entire thing, but as long as you finish in the top 8, you skip those 2 extra games, which is going to be massively important this season. So
they've got no Vinny Jr., right?
Yeah, they've got no Vinicius. They're playing Valverde at right back.
Either Militao is out. They don't have a centre back as well.
Yeah, like they're a weakened team. I do think I do want to go into this game and beat them, but I can hear the argument people have for rotating a bit and playing certain players because you've got City on the weekend, and you'd kick yourself if you played someone and they got injured and they missed City. But I think that you've got to treat Real Madrid as Real Madrid and look at the momentum boost you'd get from winning that game with all the history we've got against Madrid in recent years. Get one over them, I think it's important.
I think you should just go for it. You're in a position where the majority of the squad is fit. It's a very winnable game. Win the game, and you'd be on what? At that point, 18 points from the first 6? Is that where we're at?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It'd be 15 from the first 5.
15 from the first 5, yeah. So at that point, you're almost guaranteed top 8 already. And then that means that in the final 3 Champions League games, if you're in a position at that point where you do need to rest players or players are missing through injury, it doesn't matter. Like, I think it's a position where you can just capitalize.
Because that's the thing. Like, our last 3 games are winnable games, even if you rotate a little bit. You've got Girona, who I don't think have done necessarily great so far. Lille, who have been probably the best out of the teams that we got left to play, and PSV is our last group game. So if you get over Real Madrid, you're playing teams that were in pot 3 and pot 4 to end off with. So if you want to rotate, that's where you can play your Harvey Elliott's. That's where you can play your Conor Bradleys, your Joe Gomez's, I don't know if he's fit, your Chiesas type thing. These guys who are rotation pieces. But I think the reason people have is that our run of games now, back to back, it is quite tough. We've got Madrid, then you've got City, then you've got Newcastle, then you've got Everton, all in the space of like 3 days in between each of them. And I know that Mo's going to say, oh, it's Everton. They're not very good. Again, Merseyside derby. Form goes out the window. I've seen them do stupid shit.
Yeah, but
so
I'm just thinking about the City game. You can really take City out of the race completely, as Pep Guardiola said.
I think it's a massive game on Sunday, and I think it'll be an interesting one to see how.
This is why play Curtis Jones, play Indo, bro, against Real Madrid, play like Gomez. Who cares? That's what I would do. That's what I would want my manager to do. I don't look at games individually like this. You look at Real Madrid as Real Madrid. I would like my manager to go against Manchester City at the Etihad and play the bench, like what he did with Arsenal. Why? Because it means we perform on the weekend. If that is that important for you, you should play the bench. That is my opinion.
I think there's another argument in the fact that we weren't great against Southampton, and we always typically seem to need a bit of time to get up to speed after international breaks. If I've got a game now against Real Madrid at Anfield, that atmosphere is going to be mental, but for one, and it's going to get everyone going. And it's another chance for some of these players to get themselves up to speed in time for the massive game against City and the big game against Newcastle and stuff.
I still think otherwise, to be honest. We'll see how it goes.
I also don't think certain players are going to want to. Like Salah's not going to want to miss playing against Real Madrid.
Yeah, but Salah's not the case for me. Konati's the case, like the guys that get injured.
Yeah, like there are like if Gomez starts ahead of Konati, I'm relatively okay with that. If I see Elliott start, I don't think he will do because he's just come back from a long-term injury.
Yeah, just come back. He's not going to.
But if I saw Elliott start ahead of Szoboszlai, I wouldn't necessarily be too annoyed.
Yeah, you play Salah, Van Dijk. You play Salah, Van Dijk, but I mean the rest of them. Let me do this. It would be okay with us calling Cucurella average if we concede Calafiori is average as well. California. 2 seasons of footy is enough to compare. People getting hype just for nothing so far.
Right.
What's Calafiori got to do with the price of bloody fish?
Not only
because you said both of them. Okay, just Tom. Because Rory said both are average, Cucurella and Robertson. You think Calafiori is better than Cucurella in your opinion?
Absolutely, yeah.
All right, okay.
Also,
Leif Davis is better than Cucurella.
Well, I think
there are lots of left backs in the Premier League that are better than Cucurella.
Why is Dan sitting silent in this? But I want to talk about City
because he agrees.
Rory, are you being serious? Or are you just having?
Yes, he's been very serious. You're not watching his face.
Leif Davis is not a better left back than Cucurella.
He is. I'd rather have Leif Davis than Cucurella.
You might rather have him, but it doesn't mean he's better. Like Cucurella has been very good for like nearly a season and a half now. Like, he's been very good.
A season and a half.
Yeah, because I think. Do you know what it was?
He had a really
Euros.
It's called divisionism. That is called divisionism.
That was what I was about to say. Swear Chelsea fans wanted him out until January last year.
Yeah,
that's true. He was actually about to go on loan to Man United, and then he played the game. And since that moment,
you were ready to drive him to Manchester.
Yeah, well, yeah. I think most Chelsea fans were, but we saw him turn a corner, and he's not looked back really.
Yeah.
I give Cucurella. I'd say Cucurella's been good for Chelsea from March last year. That was where I went.
No. It's from the Man United game.
The Man United game when?
Deadline day last year. No, hang on. Was it Man United? Not Man United. Sorry, Blackburn. We was going to go Man United. So it's from that game.
You're talking the summer, like August 31st.
I think he played right back. Yeah, I'm sure it was. It was that or Wimbledon. One of the two.
Wimbledon.
And he played. Yeah, but so basically, he was about to go Man United.
Something then quickly, before you go on. Do you think Cucurella, just before we start like doing the times, it's a simple question. Do you think Cucurella is a Premier League challenging left back or winning?
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay. All right. I just
I
wanted
think
to
he
make
can
sure.
be. Yeah, I think he
Okay.
can be.
I
Just win
think
the
if he
Euros.
Manchester City's team, he wouldn't get anywhere
Enzo
near.
Fernandez won the World Cup. Paredes won the World Cup.
Yeah, but-
It's all right, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think.
But he's
Uh,
also
but
just very
Ramos
good. I
definitely
think
won a
he's
World
very
Cup.
good. I think we're having a bit of a go at Cucurella here. I
Yeah.
quite like him, to be honest.
No, he's
Okay.
an average player.
Yeah, he's been good.
No,
but
he's
I-
above
I
average.
think that's very harsh to call him average.
Wow.
I think he's quite good.
You know, guys, I have an agenda. I swear to God, people literally go on MHF and here, I don't know, Sam's channel, and they call me an agenda merchant because I call Cucurella just an average good player at max.
There's nothing wrong with that. You've got to be a
What
very
I
good
remember,
See,
what I
there
remember about
you go.
Cucurella,
See
player.
that?
You've got to be
See
pretty good
that?
at football.
Hisam knows. I don't like Cucurella, and I am the one who has an agenda against him, but apparently I'm not the only one.
No, but I've went to look at it now. Cucurella didn't play from January till March,
Injured
but-
operation, I think.
but then that factors into. I don't think he was great before then. I remember he
No, I think he was turning the corner.
he
I think he
struggled
played,
against.
so he was due to
City.
go on loan, and pretty much every Chelsea fan wasn't bothered because he just hadn't got to the level that we thought we'd signed him for like 60, 70 million. Then it was that night he was due to go to Man United, and it was all like the rumor on Sky Sports. And he played. It was either against Wimbledon or Blackburn in the
It was
Carabao Cup,
Wimbledon. It was
and he
Wimbledon.
played right back, and he had a really good game. And he come out like after half time and like absolutely clattered someone. Like the whole of Stamford Bridge erupted, and he was like clapping everyone. And then I don't think he's looked back since.
Can I do
He
something
needed
before?
that,
Go ahead.
Rory.
Go
Like,
ahead.
I
Dan.
know it's against Wimbledon, but he needed that performance to like lift him. And I genuinely don't think he's looked back since.
No,
I think
Guys,
he needed to
Nobbins
see
is
the
really
Chelsea
enjoying
fans-
this. The more we delay talking about City, the better
Yeah.
Nobbins feel about this stream. Actually, it's great.
I've just done an hour show talking about it. Don't you worry. I'm fine to talk about anything. Yeah.
Okay, Blaze is saying, would you want Robo starting versus City, Tom?
If he starts against City, I wouldn't be angry. But
Who would you choose?
It depends how fit Simicast is.
Okay, if both are fit. Okay, you see, bending the question. Tom is like
No.
doing this. And
No, because
simple
Wait,
question.
is Simicast 100% fit? Is Simicast 100% fit in this argument?
Both
He's a
are
good looking
100% fit.
And Simicast.
All right, then. See, very simple. Sean here, thank you. Salah held the ball up, dribbling, 2 goals, good game. Yeah, remove the 2 goals, but I can't. It's a penalty, and to be honest, it's a miscontrol that went into the goal. So
It wasn't a
It's
miscontrol.
he didn't. Oh, that.
It
We're not
wasn't
doing
a
that, Tom. It was
miscontrol.
definitely. He didn't. So he literally stopped it like this to go straight on the ground, to go without even a bounce to the goal.
It's a shit shot because he's seen McCarthy out of his goal. He was going to touch it, and then he seen McCarthy deciding to walk over to the corner flag.
All
And
right.
he realised an open goal, just went, fuck it,
All
I'll
right.
tap that.
All right, it is. Okay. You see, I'm Salah's biggest advocate. Okay, Mo, please bring Cucurella Sofa score ratings and scroll. If anyone disagrees, then we don't want to see Saka or whatever ratings that from now on, the ignorance. Okay, let me just give
I
you
got
guys the rating. Okay, I just got, no, hold on. I have the average rating. From January, 7.2, right? Sorry, from December, 7.2. In January and March, he was injured. Sorry, January and February, he's injured. So he missed 2 months.
Mhm.
And then 7.1. Then April, 6.8. Then in May, 7.2. Then it's the Euros. So he got 7.5 and 7.2. And then after this season, guys, 6.9, 6.9, 6.9, 6.8. Yellow, this season. But he has been great this season, apparently, for some Chelsea fans. It's literally on
Wow.
Sofa Score, Blaze.
I think I don't need to.
I don't
go
think
off
Rory
the
knew
Sofa
this,
Scores
actually. I didn't
algorithm
know
to see
this.
if he's good for Chelsea.
I didn't know it because I watched the game with my eyes. I don't use Sofa Score ratings.
Yeah,
But
I'm
I
not
just
down with that.
I went to what Blaze
But-
wanted me to see. You know
No,
what I
that's
mean?
good. Look. The good thing is when
You
the-
wanted
when
me,
the-
Blaze, to watch that, and I literally went. This
the
season,
data-
he hasn't had one average green month.
I mean,
One.
look, hold on.
One average green month.
I
One.
want to put it on Blaze then. So if we're doing Sofa Score ratings and you were trying to have a go at me for Robertson, where
Robert's
did you
got
start
higher
from, Mo?
ratings. There we go.
January 6.9, February 7.2, 7.1, 7.4, 8.3, 7.3, 7.2, 6.8, 6.9, 7.4. So he's been
Okay.
better than Cucurella according to Sofa Score.
We are
what are we-
absolutely
what are we-
doing
hang
the
on.
Rational League on
Yeah, but
Sofa Score from
the
now
Sofa
on.
The whole,
Score rating.
yeah, the whole
We're
point of
so
Sofa
gone.
Score is
We're so gone.
a player's rating can literally be downgraded because of other players making a mistake and conceding a goal. And it could be nothing to do with them, but their rating will literally drop because they didn't keep a clean sheet.
Well,
when
none of
they
us
actually-
wanted to use SofaScore ratings.
You know
but
what,
Blaze-
Dan?
Yeah, no,
I
I'm
really
not-
don't
I'm
do
not
the
down
sofa score thing.
I'm not down for sofa score
I
ratings.
only
to
do
judge
the
whether or
sofa
not a
score
player's
for
good or
like
not.
some stats in terms of like how many key
Yeah.
passes, maybe crosses, the number of passes you correct. Like, did you connect 90% of your passes or 80 or long balls? I don't do it because of sofa score's rating. You know, I watch the game
Yeah.
with my eyes and I see this guy was good, this guy was bad. Which is why I said Salah yesterday got 9 because of 2 goals, right? But I didn't think Salah had the best game, right? But he got 9. The rating is skewed. Anyway, why are we talking about Cucurella? He's so insignificant. And Chelsea are going to sign a left back that will bench him within a year. Clip this. Blaze is saying California being cooked more in shorter time to Cucurella. Okay, let's ask panel. Let's ask all this panel. Who would you rather have, Cucurella or Calafiori as your left back? Quickly, before I know Rory's answers. You don't have to answer, Rory.
Cucurella.
Tom?
Probably Calafiori.
Okay, Nobbins?
In general, or for my club?
In general, as a left back, if it's not about City or Arsenal, or who would you rather have as a left back?
As a left back, probably Cucurella.
Dan?
Goddamn mind.
Kooks.
I would
Lost you,
rather have
goddamn.
Calafiori. That's mine.
I'd rather have
Absolutely.
Calafiori as a player, but you said as a left back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
By the
because
way,
Calafiori is a
that,
left
means,
back.
that doesn't mean Calafiori's bad, by the way. Let's not do that up either, because
And
that's something the chat
I
always
won't
goes
say
with.
that Cucurella is bad this season, by the way. Cucurella has not been bad for Chelsea this season.
I would
He has-
also, if it
All
was
right.
for City, I'd rather Calafiori as well. Just
All
FYI.
right. Okay. I don't think that Cucurella has been bad. Cucurella has been used as an inverted left back, in a back 3, a left center back. Yesterday, 2 days ago, he was used as a left winger, actually, because Joao Felix was playing as a 10, so he was a left winger, like a Madueke, touchline winger. So he has been used as... Calafiori is good, though. Anyway, thank you, Blaze. You really start the conversation for 11 minutes. Well, thank you. About Cucurella. Man City are cooked. He lost the plot, bro. So just to give you context, guys, I did a show with Luke. I think you know Luke Nobbins, Martin, and NJ. And I said before the game, if Gundogan plays as a DM without a John Stones being next to him, and he plays attacking mids around Gundogan, he isn't going to be good in transition or to stop the opposition. He's going to be run over. And they said, we are completely fine with Gundogan playing as a DM. The context is the majority of the City fans liked the lineup. Not you, liked the lineup before the ball
Really?
was kicked. Yes, on Twitter. Just go on Twitter and check your friends. They like the lineup. And they said it's the logical lineup with the injuries. They like Pep setup. The only question was, is Kevin De Bruyne fit or not? That's the only thing. But everything else, they were like, okay, this is very logical. We kind of needed Gundogan as a DM. I don't know how... I know you watched the game now.
Yes.
Who's bad? I think everyone was shit.
Yeah.
Quick
Everyone.
say who's good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the lineup confused me. I'm very surprised that people are saying that they liked it. I'd be interested to know which aspects of it they liked. Like,
Availability because of injuries. This is the best setup.
The fact they knew all 11 players who were starting. That's what they liked.
Yeah, even then though, like Nunes didn't start. I think we're at the stage where he has to be starting games, which I didn't think I'd ever be saying. But we've reached that point. You know, we're at the peak of this issue.
Crisis. Our £50 million midfielder might have to start.
Well, indeed. But a player who's not really started in the centre, that's the issue, isn't it? Like, I don't agree with that, by the way. Like, it just needs to happen, but it isn't happening for whatever reason. Or play like a Nico O'Reilly or a Jacob Wright, you know, like an academy player who's actually going to be able to run a little bit. That might be nice.
Even bigger crisis. Our £50 million midfielder can't start ahead of the academy players.
Yeah. Indeed.
This is just one thing on the academy players. Looking at Rico Lewis, I think he's struggling at the moment.
He's an average player, bro. He's an
Do
average
you-
player.
Do you think that I don't think he's an average player, but do you think that again?
I'm being
when
serious, by the way. Do you think you guys think I was the dig? I always saw Lewis is a good player.
It was Nobbins' reaction. He heard you go, Rico Lewis is never playing.
Like, he's a good player. The problem is he's a good player, but he lacks a lot of things to do when the team is not doing good.
That's what I was going to say. Do you think that again? It's a bit of a system-based academy player that when the system isn't functioning well, he looks like he's struggling.
Yeah. So I agree. I would drop Lewis now. It's not his fault because it's not even because of his performances. It's more that the team isn't platformed in order for Lewis to play to his best, basically. When our main issue, I feel like I keep banging this drum, so I apologize, but when City's main issues are the lack of presence in midfield, the lack of physicality, lack of steel, dueling, etc., the thing you don't want to do is introduce Rico Lewis, who isn't really known for any of those things. Like, Rico Lewis is what I would call as like more of like a connector type 8 sort of player, where the whole point of his game is that you pop him in like a little pocket and he will be able to like connect, defensive midfield to attack and that sort of thing. You'll be able to bounce off him. If you need a midfielder who's going to be able to physically challenge your Sarr and Basuma, then you're in trouble immediately. And if that's compounded with the rest of our midfield not having any of those attributes, then it's even worse. I've got a question to the panel. First half, I asked my chat this, so
please ask us questions. I like this. This is
first half. You guys tell me who was playing at right wing off ball City.
Was it Kyle Walker? It felt like it was Kyle Walker.
No, that was on ball. Who was it off ball? Who was it off ball?
Wasn't Savio? Savio was on the left.
I can't remember. I can't remember. It was between Savio, Foden.
No, Savio picked the ball up off the left too many times.
Shall I tell you?
And he picked the ball many times on the right side as well. He literally not made a couple of guys on that right side like 2 times in a row.
Should I tell you who it
on
was?
that right side?
Was it Bernardo?
No, it was Rico Lewis. Rico Lewis was being asked to play on the right of our midfield 4 in a 4-4-2. I've never seen that before. So our right side was Lewis and Walker.
I'm going to double check that, but I trust you though.
No,
you're actually right. It was the midfield looked like Rico, Gundogan, Foden, Savio. Is that right?
It was basically, yes. So it was Lewis on the right, Gundo, Bernardo centre, Savio left, and then you had Haaland and Foden as the forward 2 in the 4-4-2, and then the back 4 is the back 4. So yeah, that right side is doomed to fail upon entry, as far as I'm concerned. We all know the issues of Kyle Walker, so he needs a lot of help.
Kyle Walker is brilliant to watch nowadays.
We have to speak about the 4th goal, right? Like, I've never seen this in professional football in my life.
There's no point. Again, we know the issues with Walker. We know there's no point banging the drum. We all know he's horrendous as a defender and as an attacker nowadays. He was indirectly at fault for at least 3 of those. He had his fingerprints in at least 3 of those goals on Saturday.
I love the first one. The first one where Maddison just goes off the back of Stones, and Stones turns around to look for Kyle Walker. He's not even in the fucking frame.
So these aren't like new issues. So I don't know what value there is going over it. He just shouldn't start. It's just like getting a bit sad at this point. He just shouldn't start anymore. Like he's like
a bit like watching a lame horse.
Yeah, it's really upsetting because for me, Walker's like one of the best right backs in Premier League history, but like it's just not helping his cause.
Is it a case of leave the football before the football leaves you, and the football's left him at this top level?
It left him last season. Yeah, that happened. That's happened. It's gone. I was so confused why we protected Walker with Lewis. I thought that was insanity. That was only the first half, in fairness. Second half, we changed it to make Lewis go in the centre, which made us worse in the centre. Funnily enough, that again bizarre to me. Bizarre. First 13 minutes were good, in fairness. And then we conceded. I don't know what Gavardo's doing. I don't know what Gundogan's doing, pointing at Madison. He just can't pick him up. Again,
he was pointing at him, waiting for Walker to be there, wasn't he?
And it's like, because like Gundogan.
And then once he scored, I think Walker pointed at Stones.
Yeah, it's just like, it's like a blame game. It's like, can someone take ownership, please, of the situation? Like, Gundogan knows he hasn't got the legs to pick up Madison, so he points, pleading for someone else to pick him up. The fact that we're in that situation anyway, we've got no legs in the midfield. If Nunes is alongside, and maybe Nunes gets back and actually does stop Madison, because I know Rory picks up that run and he stops it at source, or someone with legs stops it at source. As it was, it's Gundogan. That's an issue there. Didn't convert chances, of course, in that first 30 minutes. Like, we created a couple of one good chance.
Yeah, you
one
have a
half
big.
cha-
You created 3 chances. You have a big problem. Erling Haaland had 3 times to shoot at the goal. 2 of them Vicario saved, and one of them he skied it.
I think I made a note of it. The
Three times. One of
the
them
one for me, the
Uh-huh.
main one for me. So sorry, there was one at 2 minutes 20 where City pressed well. Foden broke the lines, went to Bernardo. He crossed it. Horn had a header at the back post, and probably the best one was at 3 minute 50. City
the near
baited-
post.
Yeah. City baited Spurs' press. There was a great overload to isolate going on. Foden beat the press, played in Gvardiol. He had both Savio and Haaland as his runners. He found Haaland, and he probably should have
And
trusted
the
his
other
right
one when
foot.
he had a 1-on-1 and he completely had 3 touches before he shoots
Yeah, it's
inside the 18. So 3 chances, 3
Yeah.
clear-cut chances in the first half. It could have been a different game.
Yeah, I'd expect, because you can't expect all of them to go in. Spurs' finishing was
One.
fantastic in fairness, but I'd expect at least one of those to go in. But again, it's the same story that it's been since the start of the season. And I'm sorry I keep bringing the stat up, but it keeps getting worse. So I feel like I've got to bring it up again. I did tweet about it.
Yes.
Manchester City League games with 5+ non-penalty big chances conceded. 1920 season was one of those games. 2020-21 season, there was one of those games. 21-22 season, there was one of those games. Treble winning year, there were 2 of those games. Last season, 0. This season, we had 4 of those games, and we're only a third of the way through the season. So we are, in respect, I know big chances isn't the best stat because it is a little bit subjective, but it's a decent starting point. So we are 4 times worse from a big chance conceding perspective than the 1920 season when we had no defenders. When Company left and Laporte died.
Oh my God!
that
Is this
was-
the season?
that was
Is
a
that
good
the
season.
season that Pep Guardiola gave up in January to give the league to
Yes.
Liverpool?
That was a season where we scored over 100 Premier League goals. And Tom, how many points did we finish behind Liverpool? Was it 17 or 18? Right.
You got 81 and we got 99. So
99, so
Right.
18
So we-
points. Yeah,
So
it's
we
crazy.
scored over 100 goals in the league that year, and we finished 18 points off the top. Only on the sorry, was it 81 points? Did you say?
You got 81 and we got
81.
99.
18 points. 18 points.
Yeah. So we're 4 times worse than that at the third of the way stage of the season. If that doesn't tell you what the main issues are with this squad right now, then I don't know
Man
what
City
will.
going to get relegated? It sounds like it's
Legitimately.
really bad. It sounds like City going to go
That'd
down.
be great. Big brain. You can't get relegated by 115 if you're actually in the relegation zone. Yes. You can't get punished by the Premier League if you're not in the league itself. There you go. It's
my
big brain.
God.
Yeah. So that is
You know,
the
this is
problem.
the worst game I've seen for Pep Guardiola City ever.
Everton 4-0 was worse. I was Everton 4-0.
I can't remember it, to be
Yeah.
honest, but I can't imagine that City at home would be. Bro,
I
that
think
wide
that-
open was crazy. Passing the ball to the opposition was fucking nuts, bro. Just giving
Yeah,
them
that was
the ball.
also disappointing. Again,
Yeah,
like,
it's like,
we know that Gavardo did it on which led to a couple of goals again. Still looking at Walker there, but even again, very experienced players who shouldn't be making these issues deep in our own territory. Bernardo Silva and Gundogan in particular. These that you look to your experienced players, you look to your best, your most safe passers on the ball, and if they're giving away, even Jack Grealish did Grealish
Fourth.
give it away for the 4th
Yeah,
goal? Yeah,
Fourth.
again.
he gave it
I
away.
associate him. He's one of the more experienced players, one of the better, more conservative passers in the game, etc.
That's all he
And he's
does.
just
though.
giving it away. So it's just really weird. If you can't hang your hat on your experienced passers to not make errors, as I say, Grealish, Gundo, Bernardo in particular, just in deeper areas, then the starting point is horrible, and we're even more susceptible to the counter. So yeah, it's an issue.
What is
It's-
that? By the way, I don't see a comeback from this playing the same way and the same players. And let me tell you why. Until you fix the midfield problem, which is I don't see any fix for it. Like Matthias Nunes is not a DM. Rico Lewis is not a DM. Gundogan has lost his legs. Your defenders without Diaz look lost. And for the people that say the first goal, John Stones looked at Maddison running in, expected someone to run with him. However, he completely misjudged the height of the ball. He looking at the cross coming in, and instead of going back and trying to put any pressure, he jumped straight and he just couldn't get it. Kyle Walker ushered Timo Werner inside the 18 for the 4th goal, which is the funniest bit of football in this game, to be honest. He didn't even try to put in a tackle, caught the pass, Just put your body in front of him. Just do something. He didn't. He just ushered him inside the 18. Gundogan looks completely, physically, not up to the task against Bissouma, Sara, Kulusevski, and Madison. He's not it.
There was a moment when Son was like running away from him and he just gave up. Like, I don't know, I
He
think it was
can't
like
do it.
3-0.
And I don't blame him, right? You can't blame the guy. He was never the quickest player on the pitch. Never. And now he's a year older, playing in a much slower paced league, in a much dominant team in Barcelona, which is in La Liga. They're so dominant. Nowadays, teams, number one, they don't fear. Do we all agree? Teams don't fear City anymore. Nobody. It's
Not this current iteration.
Exactly. Nobody fears you. Nobody sits deep and say, okay, I'm not going to commit. I saw Spurs commit 7 players in one attack. 7 in one attack, which is something that doesn't happen often against City. I saw even Southampton commit like 5 players against you when you won 1-0. That doesn't happen often. And I think Pep Guardiola and the defenders are not used to that. Okay, why are teams committing 6-7 players against us? And that is a problem for City. The other problem that I see for you is that the likes of Gavardiol are not used to defend as much in the game. And now they have to defend. John Stones are not used to defend that much. Everyone is used to be on the ball. Phil Foden, by the way, he played everywhere on the pitch. Off the ball, I didn't know what Phil Foden's job was.
No,
someone tell me
yes.
what was his job off the ball when Spurs had the ball press?
Well, it kept, and this is what I was saying earlier, is it goes in line with like the Rico Lewis at right midfield. Pep keeps changing where he's putting his players. It's really weird. So like first half, Foden played at right striker, Lewis right midfield, Savio left, and then second half, Foden went to left midfield, and Savio went to striker, and Bernardo went to right midfield, and Lewis went into the centre. It was very, very weird. I feel like if you don't have any continuity in terms of like where you're asking these players to press from, because we're struggling with the press. So I feel like at least if you have players in the positions where they're used to pressing from, that's at least a decent starting point, rather than saying to Rico Lewis, play it right midfield. I've never played there before. I'm probably not going to do good with the pressing. Right, we'll try it anyway. I would at least like to see players consistently put in like the same positions off ball so they can at least, I don't know, get used to. I've never seen Savio press as a striker, for example, for City. And it was early in his City career. I've never seen that. Never seen Lewis press from the right midfield. It was, again, very odd. Really weird. So, yeah, you're right to be confused as to which players were where because we kept changing it for
it's like
Pep's
confused. It's like Pep's confused.
He's not used to that situation, Tom. Never in his career. He had other teams commit players and try to attack him.
No, I get that. I think he's more confused with his players in the sense of, I think this City squad has hit the wall. And again, I'm going to use when I saw my team do it. A lot of their players have started the physical decline. And not saying all of them have, but you're looking at Kyle Walker, Ilkay Gundogan. I think John Stones isn't in the great physical shape anymore. I think Bernardo Silva's starting to slow down. These were all crucial. KDB can barely stay fit now. These were all crucial parts to Pep Guardiola's team for the last 3, 4, 5 years. And they were guys he could trust and rely on if the going got tough to get him through games. Now that
Tom, they had one player over 30 this game. Only Bernardo and Stones are 30 years old. They had one player over 30. Walker. Sorry, 2 players, Walker and Gundogan. 2 players.
So the players that I'm mentioning,
but the rest of them are very young.
But a lot of these players, like Bernardo,
6 players cannot carry 5 through a game. You can carry 1 or 2. You can't carry 4 or 5. If 4 or 5 are physically off the pace, and I very rarely see Kyle Walker get done. It looked like he could not keep up in any shot with Timo Werner. And I know Timo Werner's quick, but I've seen Kyle Walker keep up with the quickest of them. Vinicius Jr. and Timo Werner burns him like you wouldn't believe. John Stones, Heung-min Son, Dominic Solanke, even James Maddison were doing him. Ilkay Gundogan couldn't track any runners. Bernardo Silva, he was starting the press in the fronts because City were trying to do this weird press where Bernardo be a trigger. And then once Ben Davies passed it round them, Bernardo was so slow getting back. I'm not saying these are bad players now, but I'm saying these are players that are on the physical decline. And when that happens, teams start to run through you. The Premier League's a physical league. I watched it with my players. I watched it when Henderson and Fabinho and Wijnaldum, players who were so important to us for years, started to physically decline. And all of a sudden the results drop off because you can't get through games in the same way. I think Manchester City, I think Pep signing a new 2-year deal was him accepting that
The
City
rebuild
need a
has to
revamp.
happen, yeah?
City
Yeah, we
need a
that
revamp,
completely.
and I'm going to do that myself rather than give it on to someone else. And you're watching the players now. Like I said, Stones, Walker, Gundogan, KDB, Bernardo all look off the pace physically wise. And when you've got likes of Savio, who is new to the league, new to the club, he probably needs a more stable environment. Doku can't really stay fit at the minute. Rodri's out for the season. Ake's been struggling with injuries all season. I mean, I know he missed a large part of before the last international.
You know,
break.
he came on, Ake looked injured.
Yeah, like I don't think
He
he's
looked
100%
injured.
anyway. Grealish has always struggled with injuries. City's squad is just in a really bad spot where everything bad that could have happened has happened. And the one guy that could have held it all together and carried, you know, if there was one guy who could carry 3 or 4 players when they're physically declining, it's Rodri. You take him out, you have to put in another physically declining player. Teams just run through it. And you saw it. How many times in that Tottenham game was it not a case? Tottenham had some really nice passing moves by them, not trying to take away from Ange Ball. There was some really nice moments of it. But how many times was it just, I think it was Papsar or Maddison, pick the ball up and just run. Kulusevski as well, pick the ball up deep and just run through the City team.
It's not even quick, bro.
But they just run through the City team. And Rico Lewis isn't quick anyway. Gundogan's too slow. Bernardo's out of position and slow. Stones isn't quick enough anymore. Ake's injured. Kyle Walker's not quick enough. Tottenham could just power through City whenever they wanted. And that was the problem that City had. Yet, because you could see that on the ball, City still have it. The first 10 minutes before the Maddison goal, they were playing Tottenham off the park. I thought, oh, fucking hell, this could get bad. Pep's figured it out now. Haaland should have scored at least one of them chances he got in the first 10 minutes. Foden was creating well. Gvardiol was causing problems. And then it just went again. And I feel that...
I believe it played in his mind, to be honest.
Yeah, I think
I believe so.
Yeah. The big thing for City is that Pep signed that 2-year deal. And it's 2 years, isn't it? It's not 1+1, it's 2. So that to me is him accepting that this rebuild needs to happen and him going, I'm going to be the one to do it. I'm not going to pass it on to someone else.
I want to ask you a question, Nobbins, to be honest, about Phil Foden, because he was the player of the year. If Kevin De Bruyne is fit, does Foden play in the team with no DM like this?
He has to. Yes, we have to. My front 5 would be Gvardiol, Foden, Haaland, De Bruyne, Savio. That's how we can potentially do something this season. That is basically the same.
Gvardiol, De Bruyne, Foden,
Gvardiol, Foden, Haaland, De Bruyne, Savio. It's basically
and you play 5 defenders, 1 DM and 5.
Sorry, I'm talking on ball. Yeah, I'm talking on ball. Yeah.
Okay.
So the same as last season. The difference is you're swapping out Savio for Walker on ball, which is obviously a lot better. That's how we won the title last season, because we had Gvardiol, false winger, Foden, De Bruyne in the middle. That's what I'd do. That would work.
Then you had Rodri.
But we don't have Rodri now. So
yeah, but that's the thing. I just wonder if you've got any player that can just be that. I mean, you don't have an option.
But we don't. But that's the point, Rory. We don't. So we've got to try to make the best of a bad situation. And what we're doing right now is we're playing overly conservative midfield, which we've just established can't do anything defensively anyway. So why not? I mean, I liked it towards the end.
So you're saying go for it instead of assuring the defense.
No, you're going to concede 4 anyway.
I'm not saying that, because in my team, Nunes would play and he would be the legs. That's what I would do.
Nunes is not a defender. He can't.
Do you think Gvardiol could play in Rodri?
You know, John Stones. I said that many times. John Stones should have been.
No. But I'm not playing.
You can't play more than 45 minutes.
I'm not playing Nunes in defense. I'm playing him in midfield. What? I'm confused. Mo, you say he's not a defender. I don't understand.
Like Matheus Nunes cannot be the DM. What I mean by defender,
I'm not playing him at DM. I'm not playing him at DM.
What is he playing?
He's playing alongside Gundo in the midfield.
Okay, you have. Okay, so now you have only 3 players left to defend now. That's everybody else attacks.
Yeah, but Man City have done that before.
Because it's a 3-2. It's a 3-2.
That if they attack with 5, if they attack with 5, they'll leave 5 players back. Minimum 4.
2 of them are Matheus Nunes and Gundogan.
No,
it's not good. That's what Nobbins is saying. That is what Nobbins is saying.
Nobbins isn't saying that. Nobbins is saying that there'll be 3 centre backs and then 2.
Yes.
These 2 are Gundogan.
No, I literally sat here the other week and said I think Chelsea can play that system, and you said the same, that you can't just leave 3 players back and then a 2. You absolutely can, especially if you can outscore the.
That's how he won the treble.
Yeah, you absolutely can do that.
And then
hold on. Can you stop
that?
that? Okay. Huh? You're saying that in the midfield is going to be Matias Nunes and Gundogan, and there is a three at the back, right? Diaz, Akanji, and Ake, or somebody.
On ball, yes.
Okay. So that means in transition, you have three defenders and Gundogan and Matias Nunes fending for that defense, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, which is better than what we have been doing, which is a 3-1. It's an extra body.
I think that gets overrun.
Maybe it does, but the point is that we're getting overrun even if
You're muted.
Even if we have
the one currently is getting overrun.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so Nobbins
and
is
now
saying
he wants to
add in
play
an
a
extra
weaker
player.
one.
No, it's
because
not.
at the moment,
weaker.
Gundo is the only person in there. That's why he's getting overrun. So Nobbins is saying, give him an extra body, give him an extra run.
No. How is a 3-2 weaker than a 3-1?
Oh no! They had four.
They
Now
don't
they
have four though.
In my opinion, it is
We had
my
four,
opinion.
including the midfield. It's 3-1.
Yeah, here's my opinion. Having Foden and Kevin De Bruyne around the midfield and having inverting one without Rodri being there, I think that midfield is not good enough. Every time someone bypass the press or if City lose the ball, that is too much.
Yes,
It might not be good enough, but it's not good enough now.
City don't do that now because what City do now, correct me if I'm wrong, Nobbins, is it's a case of one of Gvardiol or Walker, more so Gvardiol, but still Kyle without his brain does it sometimes. One of the fullbacks, instead of going inside to form pivot, goes up wide to become winger. Therefore, where you're saying if you go there and you got 3-box-3, I like to call it a 3-box-3. Three box midfield, three. What City end up doing is playing 3, one midfielder in Gundogan, which is normally where Rodri would be, winger, 2, 1. They end up playing what's effectively a 3-1-6 because there's another midfielder there, or another fullback there that kind of just has to exist type thing. I feel like City need to go back. If anything, City might need to go and sacrifice wingers in their team to pack out the midfield, or maybe try and play a diamond, because the problem is City concede control of wide areas because teams aren't necessarily, if you've got solid fullbacks defensively, which for the most part, well, Guardiola is for the most part, and Walker can be, you can just dominate through the middle, because what we saw against Tottenham was City still have the technical quality. They don't have the physical qualities anymore. A lot of these players are starting on the physical decline, but Gundogan can still pick a pass. Foden and Bernardo and Kevin De Bruyne can still link up and can still play football. The fullbacks, when they're asked to, can link up and play. So if you want to play a system which protects the weakness and still allows you to show an element of your strength, the argument would be to play a diamond in midfield, or even you like a second striker, really. So it would arguably be to pack out the midfield even more and play a 4-5-1, where you just have all your technical quality there, and they can link off each other and play together. And you're limiting the amount you're caught out in transition, because that's where City are getting killed. Transition moments. The moment they lose the ball, teams are going straight out wide. And killing them with.
Here's what I would do, right? Here's what I would do. I would go back to the basics of football. 4 at the back. 4 at the back.
4-4-2.
4 at the back. 2 defensive midfielder, an attacking midfielder, 2 wingers and a striker. Simple football. 2 midfielders that shield for the 2 full backs and whoever plays, and drop one of Kevin De Bruyne or Foden and play as a 10. Kevin De Bruyne, 3 midfielders. If you want to put Foden, put him on the right, put Savinho, put Doku, put whoever, and put Haaland up top. Just simple football.
Who were the 2 DMs? I don't think City have the players who play 2 DMs.
If it was me, I would actually play Gundogan, Matias Nunes, and Kevin De Bruyne, and have the 2 wingers. When we lose the ball, drop deep. You know what? Basic football. 4-2, exactly as Luke said. Simple. Don't invert. No someone cutting inside. No. Simple, basic football.
I get that.
I can't wait to lose the midfield battle on the ball with that system. That'll be my favorite thing to have.
But my point
if I trust one thing, Nobbins, is that Pep Guardiola to be able to teach players how to pass the ball to each other in the midfield. Pep Guardiola in a nutshell. But
what you've done there,
your whole thing there, Mo, was you want 2 DMs to shield.
Yeah, and be good on the ball.
Nobbins has watched a lot more of City than I have. Mateus Nunes, to me, doesn't seem like he has the discipline to be a shielding defensive midfielder. And that's arguably a bigger problem than having no defensive midfielder. If you've got a guy in the position who isn't in the position at the correct times, that's a bigger problem than having no one there at all.
Put John Stones. Put somebody there.
John,
Don't do that.
Stop with the John Stones at DM thing. He couldn't do it when he was physically able. He now can't do it when he's physically unable.
He's injured again anyway.
He's injured again, so he's out. Forget that.
Can I throw something into the mix for the DM?
Yeah, go ahead. Everybody now is having a say at Pep's system. Go ahead. All this great.
Gvardiol do that role?
Yeah,
I think that Gvardiol could do the John Stones role. I don't think he could do it off ball.
Right,
that's the issue. On ball, I reckon he could.
Do you know what the biggest issue is? You go like, okay, just do the 4-2-3-1. If I look at the players that City currently have available and put them into a 4-2-3-1, I just think that they're the third best team in the league at best. Like the actual individual players that are currently available in behind Liverpool and Arsenal, yeah. So, and that's not even like genuinely. If you listed them out, Kyle Walker at right back, the worst option of the three teams. Goalkeeper, like for like. What centre back is currently available?
Akanji Stones at the current moment, and Ake. That's the three guys available.
Stones isn't available.
So that's
Stones just got injured.
That's the third best centre back pairing. Left back, I think they probably got the best with Gvardiol. Midfielders, holding midfielders, probably third.
They have nothing, yeah.
Wingers, realistically, I'm looking at Savio hasn't scored a Premier League goal yet. Doku averages a Premier League goal once every 500 minutes. Foden hasn't scored a Premier League goal this season. Grealish hasn't scored a Premier League goal in nearly
Chelsea
a year.
Better than them. Go ahead.
Attacking midfielder, fully fit, firing Kevin De Bruyne, probably still up there. And then obviously Erling Haaland, the best striker.
You know the problem is Kevin De Bruyne is not fit, Rory.
Well, exactly.
Nobody knows what is going on with the guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Why at 1-0? Why at 1-0 2-1? He's not.
It's the hamstring injury.
Yeah, but the problem is everyone keeps saying Kevin De Bruyne is back in training and he's fit. You're 1-0 down on 2-0 down, right? Why is not Kevin De Bruyne is not on the pitch? No one is creating anything after the 3 chances. No one is creating anything, Tom.
Because he's not fully fit. I think.
So why don't you come out and say that? So City fans stop telling us that he's fit.
Because he's fit enough to play. He's not fit enough to start, and he's not fit enough to play at his top level. I think, to be honest, there's a bigger problem with Kevin De Bruyne. The fact that he keeps getting the same hamstring injury over and over and over again. It's like, I think Pep said it himself, when you replace a car part, it gets worse and worse and worse. You're not going to get, it's not going to be at 100%. It'll go down to 19, it'll go down to 80. And if Kevin De Bruyne is continually struggling with the same hamstring every single time,
I think City don't win the league if Kevin De Bruyne is back. Guys, I think if Kevin De Bruyne is not back, City don't even challenge Liverpool. It's not for the league. He is the guy, to be honest.
He's not going to be, as far as I'm aware, he had major surgery on that hamstring and is now still having issues with it. At that point, you're out of runway. There's no way.
Maybe Nobbins. You think you can do it without Kevin De Bruyne, Nobbins?
No, we need 2 players in Jan. Hello.
Yeah, that's the whole point. People think that Phil Foden is going to be able to carry the team. He's not. He's not going to be able to carry the team.
2 enough, Dan. You're right. It might need 3. You're right.
Yeah, I wonder if you need more than 2 actually.
I think
that's why LB tweeted that they need 300 million in the 2 windows, 150 in the.
Yeah, I think there will be a big overhaul in the summer. Again, to me, this is very similar to the 16-17 season. I wouldn't be surprised if we finished third this year. I think I said that early in the season on the shows, to be fair. So it's not like I'm being reactionary there. I have said this for a while. I think it will be 16-17 like. And in fairness, I think that we will go hard in the summer, and hopefully we win the next 2 thereafter. But I know we're only 12 games in, but it's looking very unlikely that City are able to do anything
on a championship budget, though. How much are you going to be able to do in the summer?
Indeed. So I know injuries.
By the way, if you get a transfer ban, you're done.
Yeah, you're actually finished.
You're done.
Yeah.
You might not get relegated, no point deduction, nothing. A fine and a transfer ban.
We'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens, won't we? But based on like what is there now, it's looking pretty.
What would you rather have? A relegation point deduction or a transfer ban?
3 transfer ban.
Because there is a thing that point deduction. You start like with minus 10 points, like that happens, or 15 points.
Man City can deal with a points deduction and still achieve Champions League football.
Yeah,
a
Man City
transfer
can
ban
deal with
fucks
a
them up for
relegation
multiple
as well.
years.
The last time Manchester City got promoted, they haven't looked back since.
That's a good point. It depends how long the ban is, I guess, because if it's only like a year, it maybe would force us to trust someone like a Jacob Wright, for example,
Nico O'Reilly
midfield, and maybe a Nico O'Reilly. Someone like, if you don't want Nunes to play midfield,
3-year transfer ban, 3-year transfer ban, 3-year transfer
they're
ban.
done. Pep Guardiola surrenders the contract the next day and just walks out.
If people didn't like my team because of the inclusion of Nunes, that's fine. Swap him out for Nico O'Reilly, then swap him out for Jacob Wright. If you
like
prefer.
Nico O'Reilly, but he's
okay.
Good,
So have my team. So my team would be Ederson. This is in possession. Kanji, Diaz, Ake / whatever combination of centre backs is fit. 2 ahead is, again, if Kovacic is fit, it would be him. If not him, then Gundo. And then one of Nico O'Reilly or Nunes. And then that's the defensive 5. And the front 5 is Gvardiol pushing up from left back to left wing, Foden, Haaland, Kevin, and Savio. That's a very good team to me.
Well, we'll see again. It's final. And again,
it's a team that can work.
We'll see how it goes. Let me do the super chat because we need to speak about Arsenal a little bit because they're back to their best.
I'll need to shoot off in a couple of minutes if that's okay, Mo.
Yeah. I know.
He needs to go talk more about Man City losing 4-0.
City, let's just do the super chats because it's something you have to respond to. City get battered everywhere they go. Okay, thank you so much.
Indeed.
Olo saying Jorginho dominated that Spurs midfield at White Hart Lane. No, he didn't. Olo, you're lying. You're lying. You won, but he didn't dominate. Minus goals, Andy Carroll is better than Erling Haaland. I'm telling you.
So, minus the main job of a striker. He's good at all the things that you don't necessarily want from a striker.
But I think what Olo's saying is that he's not scoring at the moment as frequent as before. So he is.
Right. I think he's got on 11 goals this season, Erling Haaland. I think that outscores pretty much every Andy Carroll season ever.
That's crazy. Nobbins, would you take Ogochukwu this January? Quick fix.
I'll take nearly anyone.
You would take Blaze.
You can't take Ogochukwu anyway. He's on loan at Southampton. Played against us yesterday.
Yeah. Why couldn't this happen once in the last 24 months?
The thing is, these errors were in existence last season, but we were relatively favourable with injuries, and we had Rodri available.
Well, hold on. Why aren't Arsenal in a position this season to capitalise on it? Why does it have to be in the last 2 seasons? Why is it now?
Probably because of their summer transfer.
You can answer that, Tony. What Tom just said. Why Arsenal aren't ahead of City at the current moment?
What? It's happened to City now. Why aren't Arsenal in the position to capitalise?
Diallo saying conceded it. City conceded the highest XG per shot in the league.
Yeah, this is surprising. It's what I said earlier about.
By the way, that is always Pep's teams. By the way, when they concede a chance, it's a real chance. Pep's team always have been like this. Is Barcelona days.
Yeah. And it's fine conceding maybe one of those every other game. Yes. But right now we're conceding 5 or 6 a game.
Yeah, Diallo, that has always been the case for Pep Guardiola, to be honest. When you bypass, Mourinho said it, when you bypass the press, you're in for a 2-on-2, 3-on-3. And
oh my God. Man City have got more XG conceded this season than Tottenham, and Tottenham's defence is shit.
Tottenham's defence
have some shame and put some respect on Dragusin and Ben Davies.
I'll put some respect on Ben Davies. Ben Davies can have more respect, not Dragusin.
City players won't be able to hear each other. I don't understand this. Each other's sound.
City players won't be able to hear each other on Sunday at Anfield.
Oh, okay. Sunday.
The speakers will be full volume.
Mm-hmm.
Speakers is crazy. Blaze is saying Foyne might be the only 10 in the world who doesn't like to play passes in behind. It's drop of the shoulder and shoot. We saw what Dewsbury Hall did in contrast immediately.
I'm assuming.
He must mean De Bruyne.
Yeah, I think he means KDB. But
he means KDB. KDB did in contrast immediately. Dewsbury Hall, bro. Like, what the fuck, Blaze?
No, there's 2 things.
Did Dewsbury Hall play well against Leicester? Are we using that?
He didn't play. He didn't even play.
He had like
Go
5
ahead,
minutes.
Nobbins. Go ahead, Nobbins.
Oh, well, I mean, the first thing is, De Bruyne's De Bruyne. It's a weird comparison, but it's just not true in terms of the Spurs game. I don't think Foden played well, but that's because of his off-ball work. On-ball, he was fine. Off-ball, it wasn't good enough. 2 minutes 20, broke the lines. 3 minutes 50, broke the lines. 30 minutes, broke the lines. All three good
He had
chances.
a good chance as well. He just put it over the bar.
And I totally agree, Dan. If we were going to criticize, again, my main critique of Foden was his off-ball work, but if you want to criticize him on ball yesterday, the playing in passes and behind is not the one because he was the best player for that. But he should have, I agree, Dan, should have scored a goal, in my opinion. Half chances, fine. I expect Foden to score one of those. So, yeah.
Luke Skywalker. Guys, listen to Luke and hit the like button. We have 600 people here. Let's get 300 likes quickly. I'm going to go through this. Okay, if there's something, I'm going to respond to you. Bye,
Nobbins.
You would think that Pep extend the contract, but if someone has to go, just let me know in the private chat. It's okay. You would think with Pep extending the contract, the players would have to put up more of a fight. They just seemed scared and caught out. Pep was fuming. I think tactically, I don't know. I'm just going to say my response to this. I actually think he set them up to fail. Does anybody agree with this? In the game, the lineup it shows, the way they set up, they were just failing. After the first 10 minutes.
I think we've established, though, like none of us can really come up with a solution to the problem. There are other things maybe that he can try, but I do feel like some players have thrown the towel in a bit. I do wonder if maybe they know that they've lost the 115 and some of them are getting ready to jump ship.
No, you reckon, Rory?
I reckon.
No, the players
I think
would
they
never
know they've lost the league.
No, the players would never know, Rory.
I just
They
don't know
would
how
never
they
tell
know.
them. They would never talk about it inside and ask and all this stuff. It would disrupt the whole thing.
People will know the way that it's going. The club will already know the way that the case is going, whether they're going to win or lose. They'll know whether it's going well or it's going badly.
No.
Who knows?
Okay,
I just think as soon as the players know, the papers would know, like the journalists.
That's what I was thinking. Then I think that the papers would know
because the players,
not whether they've won or lost, but just a general
around
feeling of how it's they have to because the lawyers have to be honest with the club about how they think it's going, so that they can
100%. The club would have briefing every day about how the case is going.
Exactly.
100%. Yeah, that was. I'm not sure, to be honest. Tom is saying Jasko smoked by Doak Kulusevski up next Salah.
Big up Ben Doak.
Ben Doak, bro. Tom is bro.
Where is Ben Doak currently, Tom?
Middlesbrough. He's actually like the best player.
Yeah, is he?
Mm-hmm.
He's a very good player, actually. Very, very good player. I like him. Nobbins, you're getting better.
Next year?
You're getting online. You're getting battered online at San Marino. I don't know what that means, Tom, to be honest. At San Marino, I don't know. You're in
I don't know if he's just comparing City to San Marino.
I think it's that that San Marino account on Twitter. They said, "Can we play? Can we play his next City? We'll probably win."
Yeah, nice.
What the fuck, bro? Nice. Diallo saying Salam Achimo. Thank you, Diallo, and the panel. Mom always told me never disrespect elders. Haaland needs to repent to apologize to Arteta. 2 goals from 8 expected is mad for him. Since literally he told Arteta stay humble, which is, I think it was so wrong from him because he's not your mate. He was your coach and he's a coach of another team.
He was never Haaland's coach.
No, he wasn't Haaland's coach.
He was never Haaland's coach. Okay. No. But also, so that actually makes it even worse because there's no relation for them. Why would you go to the opposition coach and stay humble? I think if a player does that, it's not the right thing to do. It's a sign of disrespect.
He was massively rattled at the end of that game. Not just what he did to Arteta, throwing the ball at the back of Gabriel's head. And I think he was frustrated in that game because his goal scoring was beginning to dry up. And I think that's continued. And I think at the moment, he's a very frustrated player because things aren't going his way. He's a sore loser as well.
Just with the expected
did you see
goals.
Bernardo Silva? You could have tugged the shirt of Madison to stop him, but he chose to tackle, take both his feet out. That is and I said that to HUSAM after the game. I said, you can't choose to stop the opposition from an attack and take the yellow card by tugging their shirt. That doesn't hurt them. But to go down, kick both feet, okay, you're bitter. You're just bitter person now.
They are.
With the expected goals, see, like Haaland scored so many goals last season that were obviously in opportunities where other strikers wouldn't score. Is his expected goal stat variable to other people's because of where he scored goals from and what rate he scored? or
it's always related to the average player.
Right. Okay. So it's just to the average people that take their chances.
It's not him. That's why XG is so skewed then.
Right. Yeah.
Kevin De Bruyne shooting from outside has the same XG as Konate shooting from the same distance outside.
But that makes what even crazier because it means he's scored 2 goals from what you'd expect an average striker to score 8 goals from.
Cool,
so if it was compared to what his own, if it was compared to what his own XG from his standard is, it's probably 2 goals from about 16.
Yeah. Because, by the way, he had other chances where he could have shot, but he didn't create any XG out of it because of his touch was bad, his turn was bad.
So for the last few seasons, has Haaland just been outperforming XG? Like, has he been miles above it?
I don't know about Dortmund, but
I don't know about miles. But yeah, he's never.
I think he did first year, and then last year they balanced itself out a little bit more.
Yeah, but I think as far as I'm aware, he's never finished a season with below scoring less than what he was expected. He always scores more. His expected goals.
Tom, it is the same reason that Liverpool came third and shit the bed at the end of the season. Sometimes we don't take advantage of City's bad form.
I didn't realise Saka had missed 3 months through injury. I didn't realise that David Raya had missed 3 months through injury. I didn't realise that Havertz had missed 3 months through injury. I didn't realise all that. Fucking hell, this injury crisis that Arsenal have is really serious, isn't it? I didn't know. I didn't realise Gabriel had missed 2 months. I didn't realise Calafiori had been out for the entire season. Oh my God. I must have missed all that. Because that's why we shit the bed last season. We had half our fucking team out injured for 3 months. I can't believe it. I can't believe that, what's his name, Mikel Merino's missed 3 months. That's crazy, that. Wow. I feel really bad.
I don't understand his point, but I don't understand Tom's point. But
because the reason we came third and shit the bed last year wasn't because we didn't take advantage of City's bad form.
It wasn't because of injuries, Habibi. When Salah was out and the games that we're not gonna go, Tom. We literally me and you did this the other day on the Liverpool stream when Jamie said Jamie literally went through the games and
we gathered that we wouldn't agree.
You lost to Everton.
Rory, you're right. Jamie did this to him. Yes.
Yeah, you lost to Everton with Alisson in goal, Trent at right back, Konate, Van Dijk, Robertson, Szoboszlai, McAllister, Jones, Salah, Nunez, Diaz.
Yeah.
Yes, Jamie did this with him on this channel.
Are we just gonna throw fucking context out the window? Let's bear in mind 3 months. The players. Salah missed pretty much every game from January to April.
You won every game.
You didn't miss this game. You played it. You lost.
Wait, isn't that because Salah just ghosted after AFCON?
Let me finish.
Isn't that what he does?
So Salah missed 3 months of football. Szoboszlai missed 3 months of football. Nunez missed 2 months of football. They all missed the football. Let me fucking finish, for fuck's sake. They all missed games up until April. So that meant we had to play pretty much the same 11 every 3 days from January to April, bar Bobby Clark getting some games and Joe Gomez playing DM. They were the only change we could make. McAllister started every game, Gakpo started every game, Diaz started every game. So what happened in April was you had players who hadn't played for 3 months being chucked straight into the starting 11, so they're off the pace anyway. Then you got players, so half the team's off the pace because they've not played since January, and half the team are blowing out their fucking arse because they've played every single available minute since January. Put them together, it's a shit show. That's why we fell apart. Not because we didn't take advantage, because we were top with like 7 games to go. We were in the position, it was just the shitstorm happened at the same time. That's what happened.
Definitely not going to have time to talk about Arsenal, but fine. I really wanted to speak about Odegaard and Saka and Chelsea. This is very interesting conversation. City, whatever that word is, can someone read?
Nepotistic.
Nepotistic for too long and don't know what to do with themselves. Now they aren't smashing every team, like going from rich to poor.
Can you explain what does that nepotistic mean?
I assume it was just that they felt they had this right that they were just going to win any game.
Nepotism is the practice of giving relatives or friends preferential treatment in the workplace or other fields.
Okay, so
baby, right?
What he's saying is that, same as I said yesterday, the team's already 1-0 against City when the whistle blows, and then teams have courage to go and win against City. That is what it is. That is what it means. Yeah. I get exactly what you mean. And we will watch more and more teams having courage against City. You'll see that. more and more and more in this league.
It's probably arrogant. Arrogance is probably a better word. It was almost an arrogance in City that it doesn't matter who turns up. We're Man City. We'll beat them.
But because they were the
Now-
best team in the world, guys, they were the best team in the world. At that, we all agree that City were ridiculous in the last 2 seasons, especially from February onwards. They were
100%.
ridiculous, right? The
But
problem
it
is
doesn't
I don't
change
see
it.
this happening this season without the Rodri and without Kevin De Bruyne being fit. I just don't see it.
Mhm.
How is it gonna
Yeah.
happen? How is
I
this
don't-
guy gonna fix it, bro? It just doesn't make there's no
But-
DM.
but
We try to put
this- hang on.
combinations. He's not gonna be able to fix it.
Mo, just quickly, because I'm a little bit confused there, because everyone keeps saying Rodri this, Rodri that. And don't get me wrong, I understand how important he is to this City team, but he's barely been about this season. They're still second. So there must have been a point this season when it wasn't as bad as it currently is.
Okay, let me explain to you. Husam said this again with me as well. He said, and I think he did it with Tom when he did the show and we analyzed Liverpool with Callum as well. He said that finally results have caught up to the performances of City. Winning 1-0 against Southampton at home is not a good result for City. That's not good. You winning the games when you're not playing well, it will catch up to you. City have done this pretty too much this season until finally, oh, you're not playing well. Oh, surprise, you're losing the game. Against Arsenal, they got a point when they shouldn't have gotten a point.
One
should have
against
been a
Wolves
loss.
with the final kick of the game.
Semedo,
Yeah,
Nelson
true.
Semedo had 1-1. Matias Cunha could be running on goal, and they didn't. Against Fulham, literally, Adama Traore shot the bit twice in front of Edison. And finally, the results, someone who's clinical, Spurs, scored 4. Wow, believe it or not.
So you
So
think what it is it's more of a case of, as their results have sort of had more and more question marks around them, more and more teams have paid them less respect, and ultimately Spurs
Yeah.
When you,
paid
yes,
them,
then when you watch
yeah.
Wolves cut open through them,
Yeah.
when you watch Fulham, couple of passes they're behind. When you watch Southampton do it, you're like, okay, I can do it. I have better players, I can do it as well. What the
And-
coach, Brighton,
But-
remember Brighton, couple of passes through the middle, and then like, boom, City are
I mean,
completely wide open.
By the way, Brighton, their football is unbelievable.
That's ridiculous.
I don't know if
It's
anyone's
so
seen
much-
them against
It is,
Bournemouth,
yeah, it is. But you're also, I feel like you're seeing teams that, where teams previously would go 1-0 up against Man City, which would happen a lot. They'd go 1-0 up and then immediately just like all out defense. We're not going to go for the second goal. Now teams are just like, well, we're 1-0 up. We'll go for a
Yeah.
second goal. We'll go for a third goal. And that makes, when teams go 1-0 up and then immediately massively sit off when there's ages left in the game, makes it easier for City to get back into it because they don't have to think about defending. Now all of a sudden they've got to think about defending even if they're 1 or 2 goals down. So yeah, I do think it's a big difference.
Yeah,
And
let me go through this. You all lost because those people came back. Salah was back, Van Dijk was back. You had your full
Oh
team.
my fucking yes. We lost because all our good players came back without any of the context. Yep, brilliant. Well done.
Rory literally put the lineup in front of you.
And I
freaking
lit- and
against everything.
I spent the past 3 minutes explaining why the context is important. Context is important. in everything.
but then that's like an Arsenal fan say, okay, well, Timber missed all of last season with an ACL. He's come back
Yeah,
and
you
being
can
forced
say
to
that.
play every minute. Erdegaard's missed most of the season. Calafiori's
You
been
can
in and
say-
out.
you
Marino
can-
missed the start of the season.
Where did I say
Tomiyasu's
Arsenal
missed the
fans?
whole season.
Where
Ben
did
White's
I
been
say
playing through an
Arsenal
injury
fans
for the whole
can't say
season
that?
and now has surgery.
Where did I say Arsenal fans can't say they've had injuries? I'm saying
Okay,
the,
but can I ask
the
you
level has
something?
been blown out of proportion.
If Odegaard now is back and Arsenal have their team back, and now Arsenal
Mhm.
start losing games in the next month, can they use the injuries that happened in September and
Previously.
October?
Yeah.
Okay. If that's your logic, that's fine. That's fine.
If Odegaard all of a sudden looked off the boil across the next couple of games, it's because he hasn't played for 3
I hear you.
months.
I hear your argument now. I think you're saying the form. They were out of form. All right. Okay. I hear your argument.
There's an argument of sharpness. The same
Rory-
players that aren't sharp when they come back from injury.
Guys, before I go in the super chats, guys, all these guys' channels are in the description. We need to go and support the guys, please, and hit that like button on the show. We're not even on 300 likes. Rory, why do you guys keep stating the obvious? Liverpool will drop points. It is just, do you believe you will go on a run to catch them? Who will drop more points? Rory stated that 50 times.
I don't know. My feeling is that if Arsenal can get to within 3 points of Liverpool by the time we play them at Anfield, we're in a very good position.
If
So
you can get to
if we
if you can get
catch-
to 3 points within us, with
Rory,
3
you
games to go
should
in
be
the
3
season,
points with them way before that, Rory.
That's
we
like
should be.
the
Well, no, not necessarily.
You're
It's
talking
the last
week
game of the season.
Game week. Your plan is to go 3 points close to them in game week 36.
No, if we can get to within 3 points of them, so that if we are in a position where if we go to Anfield we overtake them, then
All right.
then
But
you're
I think you have to be
because
before
at that point the title is in your hands. Now,
Yes.
and yeah, obviously I'd like to be in a better position than that, but you still have to rely on Liverpool dropping points, and there's no guarantee that they will.
So, laughing out loud. So, have you seen Arsenal's injury record this season? What a rubbish excuse every player you mentioned for Arsenal
Oh my
has actually been out.
God.
Okay.
Right.
We discussed this. We discussed this already. We literally just discussed
it's a super chat. I'm just going to give some context. Saka has missed 2 games so far this season. Salah missed 3 months. And it swings in both ways. Guess what? It's not a dick measuring contest about whose injuries are worse. Injuries happen.
He's pissed now. He's pissed now. He's so pissed now.
It's like Arsenal fans want a fucking violin played whenever anything happens. But Kyle Saka
isn't it the other way around? Isn't it the other way around though? Because people are talking about the fact that you collapsed last season, and then it's instantly the violin out talking about the injuries that you had that weren't even injured players when they were playing. It was but Salah went to AFCON and then had an injury, so that's why he's playing shit through the whole of April.
Well, the whole of April where he started like 3 games.
Well, yeah, he started against Palace. You lost.
How many games do you play in April? Well, the max has got to be 5. He's done more than half there, Tom.
Yeah. 14th of April started against Crystal Palace alongside Nunez and Diaz. You lost the game. 28th of April, he started against Everton along with Nunez and Diaz. You lost the game. So how long does he need to recover from an injury?
Well, he missed 3 months, so a bit longer than 2 games.
But it wasn't 2 games. It was the whole month.
So if I go back, to
I swear to God, this show has gone left with the talk about the injuries of last season.
I agree.
Because context is important. I've not said
you're
that
so adamant to prove that the injuries they had is the reason why they performed bad when they came back.
Yes, because I've maintained that across multiple clubs. It's not just me. I would understand the argument if I'd said that doesn't apply. If I said that doesn't apply to Arsenal, i.e., Odegaard must come back and
but we disagree with you. This is and you're denying us the right to disagree with you.
Yeah, I disagree with you disagreeing with me the same way you disagree when I disagree with you. It's an argument. That's what happens. It
is an argument. I like it, but the reality. Anyway, I hear your point, but I promise you, all I can tell you, Tom, no rival fan will give Arsenal that excuse if they lose the league this season, if they perform bad in December, January, February. No one would say Odegaard was injured, hence, he's out of form. I'm not saying you, Tom. We have now it on record that you will give them excuse. I am telling you, no one will give them excuse. No one.
But
I guarantee you this.
Yeah, but I don't care what Saucy Salah 11 says on Twitter. That's quite irrelevant to my line of thinking. My point of view is, if come the end of the season, Arsenal are in a really bad run of form because these injuries have caught up with them, and that meant that for about 2 months, let's say from January to March, the likes of Partey had to play every single minute of every single game because Declan Rice was injured and Marino was injured, and Arsenal physically had no one else to play. Then yes, I'm quite happy to go yes. That's unlucky for Arsenal.
So when we drew to you at the Emirates this season, presumably you blame that entirely on the injuries that Arsenal have had.
Blame what?
Because in that game we started Thomas Partey, who, having played barely any minutes last season, played every minute so far of this season. We had Ben White, who was carrying an injury at the time. Gabriel, who went off injured. Timber, who had an ACL last season and then went off injured. Rice, who's been carrying an injury. Marino, who had just come back from an injury where he missed the entire start of the season. Saka, Trossard, Martinelli, Havertz. So everyone other than the front four had either been injured, went off injured, or was carrying an injury.
Yeah.
So presumably that's why we lost that game, or we drew that game.
And so, yeah, I think you just didn't perform as well because you were missing certain players who weren't at 100%, which is why I'm annoyed that we didn't win that game.
So Arsenal are the better team?
No, because the league table, which says who's the better fucking team. One game doesn't change that.
Well, we had injuries, so that's...
Yeah, we also had injuries, though. I can say we had no Diogo Jota. We had no Alisson. We had no Harvey Elliott. Same
I'm
thing.
getting sick and tired of hearing Harvey Elliott's name, I have to say.
What do you mean?
We had no Kieran Tierney. Do you know what I mean?
Kieran Tierney and Harvey Elliott are not on the same level of playtime. Harvey Elliott got the second most assists out of any Premier League player in the second half of last season. Kieran Tierney hasn't played for Arsenal since fucking 22-23.
Yeah, because he's always injured. We'd have won back-to-back league titles if Kieran Tierney had been fit.
Oh, get off it, man. Get off it. Fucking hell. Kieran Tierney. Fucking hell.
I am joking, but the Harvey Elliott one is... Because Harvey Elliott wouldn't be starting for you.
There's 100% Harvey Elliott would start games for us.
Where?
In place of Szoboszlai. I'm not saying every game
Really?
because you rotate, but yes, I think for the likes of Nottingham Forest, Harvey Elliott would have started that game. For the likes of, I'm trying to think of what, Bournemouth at home, which we won 3-0, I still think Harvey Elliott would have started that one. Arguably, Southampton, he would have started even though Szoboszlai had a good game. Like, Harvey Elliott's a better playmaker than that, so I just think it's important.
We're really discussing Harvey Elliott and Kieran Tierney. It's fucking crazy.
I only bring up Kieran Tierney because I think it's equivalent to Harvey Elliott.
I'd argue that Harvey Elliott's played more Premier League games than Kieran Tierney has at this point. I think it's a genuine...
Unless there is something controversial in them, let me just go through this. You all lost those games because your world-class players did not step up. You all lost because Nunes missed the chance. That is her opinion, Nafisa. Thank you, Nafisa. Mm-hmm. That is their opinion. And I think that's everyone's opinion apart from you, Tom. Even HUSAM's opinion is that. So, but I get what you're saying, Tom. They were out of form because they were injured. I hear that thing. Like, I do the same for my players as well. I hear that. Nafisa is saying also Liverpool were meh yesterday. Yeah, Liverpool were not great. Were they great? We actually discussed Liverpool already, Nafisa, in the beginning of the show. I think you missed it.
We weren't great, no. We weren't great yesterday.
They were all right,
they were all right.
But Salah was injured in February, so...
You're so... You know, someone told me that Rory does these jokes, digs.
I
like him, actually, Rory. I like you because of that.
Canate didn't play because he's been carrying an injury. So
how are we favourites if we're definitely going to fall off? That is... I don't think anyone on this panel said that Liverpool... Literally, Rory just said that he's expecting Liverpool to be ahead until game week 36. So that is not a fall-off. And I think Dan said that as well. So listen, anyone that keeps telling me that Liverpool will fall off, it's a hope rather than evidence, and you're analyzing evidence. There's no... Unless Van Dijk gets injured, there's no reason for Liverpool to fall off.
That's the thing. The main justification that people have is, well, if X, Y, or Z gets injured. But that's just a complete, like... That's not
it's a big
logical.
If. It might not happen at all.
Exactly.
It might not happen at all. Like, Tony's saying, by your logic, last season you guys struggled because of injuries, but this season Arsenal should not struggle because even though we have injuries. Tony, who already said, if Arsenal don't win games, Rory can come here on the show and say, Tom, but we had injuries in October and November. Tom already gave Rory the excuse.
No, right, okay.
You literally just did.
I said that it carries over for a short time. If Odegaard's injured now and he's back from injury now and has a poor December, I think the excuse carries over. If he's poor in April, but he's played every game, he's played the majority of the games since he got injured and he's just being poor, the injury excuse doesn't carry over then. My point is it's a sharpness thing. So if Arsenal fell off at the end of the season, but it was because injured players were coming back and they were off the pace, yes, I understand it. But I'm not going to use the fact that Saka missed 2 games in October as an excuse for why he's poor in April, because he's got the sharpness back by playing all these other games. That was my point.
That's fair. Tom is saying, with 115 in the air, do elite players join Man City in January? Dan?
Yeah, I think...
Oh, I thought he was going to come in with a stupid voice then. I was going to laugh. I thought
Imagine. No, I think they do. I don't see players being off-put. I have kind of wondered whether or not that's been an issue and Manchester City don't want to spend. I actually think Leicester probably are in the position they're in because they didn't want to spend because they believed they'd get charges. I actually think that maybe Manchester City are slightly thinking about that. But I think Rory made a good point, is that if people are aware, I'm sure we'll know fully where Manchester City feel that they might be heading with this sort of whole thing in
Yeah.
January if they're spending.
Yeah, Tom, I'm just going to tell you something, Tom. Every time a player would go to Man City, they would definitely, their agent, they would ask about the charges 100%. They won't just be sitting
true,
like stupid. I'm going to sign 5-year contract. Just give me 5-year contract. They're going to ask about it. Red Indian is saying, if you can't understand what Tom said, you either don't hate anything in your head. Okay, Tom explained the Red Indian. Thank you so much. Liverpool were in the same position on December 18th, 2020, and still bottled it. It is not impossible to catch them. I'm gonna respond to this. When you have the best defender they have get a ACL, and you literally have Ozan Kabak play at the back with Fabinho and nobody else to play, there is an excuse that can be given to Liverpool. If tomorrow both William Saliba and Gabriel long-term injury, plus Thomas Partey get injured, I'm not going to sit here and fucking say, oh, Arsenal, you fucking bottled it, because there is no replacement for them. It's simple.
Was that an attempt at an English accent then?
I can try. By the way, do you know that when I first learned English in the British Council in Egypt, my teacher, actually, she was Scottish.
I mean, I do remember, by the way, Saliba getting injured, being replaced by Rob Holding, and everyone telling us we bottled.
I gave you excuse. I gave on the football.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Liverpool that season went through 22 different centre-back partnerships and ended the season with our 8th and 9th choice centre-back starting week in, week out for us. That's that. If you're ever going on about is there a reason why there was a drop-off in form, I think having Reece Williams and Nat Phillips as your starting centre-backs for the final 2 months of the season is
that was fucking crazy, to be honest. Fucking crazy. Football is not stats and availability, match fitness. Yes, Red Indian, which is Tom explained, literally that he's about short term, the injury scary. Based on your context, Tom, why do you criticize Reece James? This kind of
because he's never fucking fit.
He's never injured, Blaze. Reece James is not even. You cannot rely on Reece James. Like Tom said, and I remember, and I'm gonna quote him. He said that if Konate can't get fit, we should not be relying on him as a starting centre back. That was last season. We should get another centre.
And the same way with Diogo Jota now. If Jota has another injury this season, it might be time to sell him and get Mateus.
Yeah, Steve Blaze, same context. Arsenal fans talk about what it takes is hilarious. I don't know.
Hey, they knew about what it took to win a league title in 2004. You just need Thierry Henry, Patrick Vieira, invincible team.
Oh yeah, apparently there's this if Arsenal were to win the league, then all of us would suddenly understand what it takes to win a league, but we can't observe.
You haven't watched any other team win a league.
Do it. No, I've never witnessed a team win a league before, so
you can't talk about it. You don't know what it takes because you're an Arsenal fan, as you are playing for Arsenal, so you don't know. You don't know. Yeah. Jack, it's a kind of a weird thing. You didn't coach football like me and HUSAM were told that yesterday on the show. I want to see you lead a training session. I'm like, so we can't talk about why you're watching then. It's like, we're not talking about the football then. Have the Tom violin play a little You Never Walk Alone tune, brother. Yes. I am here for the Neto goal for Arsenal. Neto in goal for Arsenal. They're finished. Well, but you can't compare that, guys, because you have Keller. You're blessed to have Keller.
How are we? By the way, he's a fucking academy product. It's not our fault that we got it. On.
But let me tell you the fact then. Tom, not you, the other Tom that is super chatting you can never have the depth excuse from now on because you have Kelleher, they have Neto. You're literally outdone yourself. I don't want to say leopard in the tree, underdogs because you don't have depth. They have Neto, you have Kelleher, then you're outdone yourself. Nafisa saying, then Arsenal were not bottle jobs in 22-23. End of discussion, khalas. Which is what Rory said.
If you want to go with that, fair enough. I think the issue with that one is it's that one.
William Saliba and Thomas Partey getting injured is a bigger excuse than anyone else. In 2022.
If Arsenal fans want to bring that excuse, I don't necessarily call it a horrendous bottle job because of the injuries. I think the reason people do though is that one Sky Sports graphic that just gets thrown about everywhere. What was it? How many days you spent on top of the league or something that people just throw about. That's where that comes from. But yes, the injuries to Saliba and Partey, which meant they couldn't play, damaged Arsenal towards the end of the season. No arguing against that.
Shut up for that. Listen, guys, there is no time to talk about Arsenal. There is no freaking time to talk about Chelsea. But Arsenal were good. They're gonna go on a run. They're gonna win every game until January 4th. win every game until January 4th. Chelsea are good. They're going to get third. I've been told yesterday they're going to finish above somebody in third. Enzo Fernandez should start. Lavia should be benched. And Cole Palmer is just one of the guys. That is the
There we go.
of Chelsea, guys. Before we go on, Rory, you're live today. But also,
Yes.
I want to actually plug something for Rory. Rory does a lot of TikToks and Instagram posts. So Rory talks football on TikTok. Fun. I follow him myself. Even though I don't do TikTok, I follow Rory myself. Fun, enjoyable, informative on TikTok. A lot of games and also a lot of information. Instant news. So go and follow Rory Talks Football. If you go to his YouTube channel and subscribe, it's about 600 people here. You will see his TikTok on YouTube. Just follow the TikTok. It's just good. Just follow the TikTok of Rory. Dan as well, channel is in the description. I know Rory today is going to go 6:30 live. You have to talk about it. He didn't talk about it here. I want to hear Rory's thoughts. Dan, you're going live, talk about Chelsea. You were in the Leicester game.
I've already been live this morning.
This morning. So go and support Dan. Tom, when are you going to talk about Salah's contract?
Don't know. I'll be on HUSAM's channel tomorrow with Callum.
Tomorrow 1:30 on HUSAM. But also don't go
Yeah.
anywhere because you're in for an entertainment on HUSAM's channel. He's going to go on a rant, talk about FSG again on his channel. This show is going to take you there. And I want to thank everyone that super chatted the channel. Hit that like button. Appreciate you guys. It's my birthday. Great birthday gifts. Thank you so much for the donations and everything. I'll see you guys soon. We're out of here, people.